What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. So having a good mentality in Fortnite is easily one of the most important things you can do to improve as a player. Simply put, a positive, improvement-focused mentality is one of the key things that separates future pro players from the average player. Whether you're trying to keep calm in a cash cup, trying to build confidence in fights, or just trying to be a more positive player in general, this video is meant to help you with all things mentality in Fortnite. So if you go on to enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like on it, subscribe if you're new and want to see more content just like this in the future, and finally, consider using code TECHO in the Fortnite item shop if you want to help your boy out a bit extra. It's completely free and it really does help me out a ton. But with that said, and without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Starting off this video, the first section is going to be all about confidence, specifically how you can play more confident in-game and get less nervous. Now, obviously, a lot of this is simply going to come down to knowing that you're better than your opponent, but for those of you guys who maybe aren't as cracked at the game quite yet and get nervous against high-level players, this section is perfect for you. My first crucial tip for improving your confidence in-game is to push yourself into the high pressure situations that make you nervous. Whether it's something like an off spawn fight, a stacked endgame, or whatever else it may be, one of the key ways to reduce nervousness in game is to simply, well, get used to it. I know it sounds like a bit of a simple tip and I might be a bit blunt about it, but seriously guys, it works. Think about it like this. Imagine that you're in a super nerve-wracking, intense early game situation. Your opponent has a good shotgun and you're running really low on materials and you're all freaked out. Now take that exact situation and put yourself in it 100 times beforehand. Obviously, you're less nervous because you've been in the situation literally 100 times already and it's really nothing spectacular anymore. That's really the whole premise with this tip, basically getting used to the intense situations, whatever they may be, and really just making it so the nerve-wracking situations aren't something so crazy and special anymore. Whether you get nervous in arena fights and decide to hop in arena and push some players, or get nervous in endgame so you play for endgame in some arena or scrims, or you get nervous in contested early games so you hop in and land in hot areas. Either way, facing your fears and simply getting used to them is one of the most effective ways to build confidence in game. Another quick tip relating to confidence is to practice against high level players. That way you can kind of get used to the pressure of fighting good players. Once again, this really comes down to the same premise of just getting used to the nerve-wracking situations, and facing good players on a consistent basis is obviously going to help you a lot with that. Whether you find a player in a scrim server like Atlantis scrims or open scrims, or even in my server, which is going to be linked down below, or maybe you simply have a friend who's really good. Either way, whatever way you do it, finding a good player and going against them on a consistent basis is almost guaranteed to make you a more confident player. Once you've been against insane players hundreds of times, the average players in your games are going to be an absolute breeze, so this is something you should really try and implement if you find yourself having low confidence and getting super nervous. With that said, guys, hopefully that helps you build confidence and avoid getting nervous in game. This next section of the video is going to cover arguably the most common issues that players tend to have in Fortnite, and that's raging and tilting. If you don't know by now, raging simply means having like an outburst of anger after a negative moment in game, specifically getting eliminated, while tilting refers to built up anger over the span of multiple games. So basically, rage is more of an outburst, while tilt is more of like a built up anger that just drives you crazy. With that said, despite being two different concepts, rage and tilt are actually generally solved or at least mitigated through similar steps. The two concepts are notably different, but also kind of work in unison with one another, since outbursts of rage tend to contribute to tilt, while tilting tends to increase the chances of rage. So in a way, the two concepts kind of work with one another. So with that said, my first major tip for reducing rage and tilt is going to be a really simple one, yet one of the most effective, and that's to take breaks frequently when you play. In general, a lot of players tend to have this grind mentality whenever they play, and some people will even go as far as literally ignoring the rest of their existence for something like 8 hours to solely play Fortnite. Not only is that obviously really unhealthy, but it also makes it really easy to get tilted, particularly on a bad streak of games. So seriously guys, one of the first steps and one of the most simple steps to avoid raging and tilting is to simply take more breaks. Aside from that, sort of similar to taking breaks is my next tip, which is to avoid pushing through when you're angry or tilted. If you ever notice that you're getting really mad or you're kind of starting to have that built up anger, just take a few minutes to kind of shake it off, maybe do something else like play a different game or watch another incredible TECHO video on YouTube. In all seriousness though, taking a little bit of time to kind of refresh and just chill out is easily one of the best ways to stay in check mentally and avoid all the issues that kind of come along with rage and tilt. So next time you notice yourself getting especially mad, stop simply queuing up nonstop and take a minute to refresh, maybe grab some water or step outside for a few minutes, and you'll almost always play better when you come back. Finally guys, my last tip when it comes to raging and tilting is going to be having a healthy outlet for anger. Simply due to the nature of video games, at times you're going to get mad, simple as that. Especially with an RNG packed game like Fortnite, it's obviously really common to simply get unlucky or have something absurd happen to you where you really can't help but get pissed off. If that's ever the case, it's really important that you have a healthy outlet for anger, where you can kind of let your energy out without damaging equipment, yourself, or anything else around you. What seems to work for a lot of people is some sort of physical activity, whether you want to go work out, maybe go for a quick walk, or simply drop down and do some push-ups. Having a quick way to let that energy out and avoid taking it out on something else is absolutely critical. I especially like using physical activity for this because it turns the negativity of getting mad into something positive. With that said, guys, moving into the final section of this video, for this part of the video, we're going to be discussing another critical aspect of your mentality, which is staying positive. Aside from improving your confidence and avoiding rage and tilt, it's also really important to have a positive outlook, be motivated to play the game, and really just not feel like you're doing a chore every time you hop on. Luckily for you, there are a few really useful tips that have helped me and many others build a more positive mentality. The first of these two tips is going to be a pretty overlooked one, and that's surrounding yourself with positive-minded players. Whether you have a little friend group type thing, which many people tend to have, or if you simply have friends that you play with occasionally, it's really important that the people that you surround yourself with in Fortnite are positive and really don't give off negative energy that can rub off on your motivation or your general mentality. For every person in Fortnite that hates the game and constantly complains about it, there are probably 5 people who are motivated and want to improve, and those are the types of players that you should be surrounding yourselves with, since those people are going to push you to improve, be willing to help you out when you need it, and really just provide mutual positivity as well. The people that surround you in this community are going to have a really strong impact on your motivation, mentality, and overall enjoyment of the game, so make sure that you're surrounding yourself with positive, like-minded players who want to improve just like you do. My final tip for this section is going to be a super important one as well, and that's setting attainable and realistic goals. In Fortnite, it's really important that you always have something to work toward. If you don't, then it's often easy to get bored, to get sidetracked by something silly, and in turn lose motivation for the game. Especially if you're trying to improve on a competitive level, one of the best things you can do is consistently set yourself different goals so you're constantly working towards something and have a reason to practice and improve. These goals can be something like learning how to triple edit, completing an edit course in a given amount of time, reaching 10,000 points in arena, or placing top 1,000 in a tournament. Obviously, those are just examples, and goals are going to vary quite a bit depending on your skill level, but overall, having a clear goal to work toward is a great way to keep yourself motivated, and reaching these goals consistently is going to especially help you stay positive, alongside helping you improve quite a bit at the actual game. Because obviously, if you have goals relating to improvement and you reach those goals, then, well, you're improving. And this tip is especially helpful if you notice yourself kind of messing around a lot, like sitting on the lobby screen waiting for something to do, or spending hours randomly building in creative with no actual goal for improvement. So if you notice you have a tendency to do that, or you just find that your motivation is lacking at times, definitely focus on setting goals on a consistent basis, and that should help you an absolute ton. But with all that said, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video on how you can improve your mentality in Fortnite. Hopefully these tips help you guys out to build confidence in game, avoid raging and tilting when you play, and build a more positive mentality overall. If this video helped you out, be sure to drop a like on it, and consider subscribing as well if you're new and want to see more content just like this in the future. And if you'd like to show some extra support, please consider using code TECHO in the Fortnite item shop, as it's completely free and it really does help me out a lot. Thank you all for watching this video though, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.